I think him and B.J. Armstrong were shooting around, and one thing led to another, and then Jordan just decided to come back. He came back against the Indiana Pacers in 1995. I think he had 19 points his first game back. So yeah, I mean, things got off to a shaky start, but eventually he started to gain some momentum back. He had 55 points against the Knicks. Uh, so yeah, I mean, 1995. They thought with Jordan being back, you would think the Bulls would at least make it to the finals, but they got beat by the Orlando Magic in the second round that year. So yeah, I mean, having the full season and going through the training camp really makes a big difference. Plus, the Bulls need to make some additions. So yeah, they picked up Dennis Rodman and you know and some other guys that would help them out. I think they got rid of B.J. Armstrong. They got Ron Harper. So they were just a more well-rounded team in 95, 96. Yeah, so that's when they won 72 games. Jordan was back in full form. Pippen even stepped up his defensive game as well. So yeah, they were 72-10 that year. They just went through everyone, even in the playoffs too. No one really gave them a challenge. They met the Seattle SuperSonics in the playoffs. I mean, in the NBA Finals, they were up 3-0 on them. Then they lost 2 games, and they won it in 6. So yeah, no one really gave the Bulls a test that year. Then 1997, they did it all over again. This time they met the Utah Jazz in the NBA Finals. John Stockton, Karl Malone. It was a good series. The most memorable game being in Game 5 when Jordan was sick. He had some kind of stomach virus from food poisoning. I think he ate a bad piece of pizza or something like that. But still, Game 5 in Utah, the series was tied at 2. Jordan still sucked it up, scored 38 points, and brought it to Game 6 in Chicago, where they closed the Utah Jazz out. Yeah, and 1997-98, this was Jordan's last year as a Chicago Bull. He won the NBA All-Star Game MVP in New York that year. He was the 1998 MVP of the All-Star Game. That was his third All-Star Game MVP. Still led the league in scoring. Scotty was out for most of that year, so Jordan had to carry a lot of the load on the offensive end. Eventually, when Scotty came back, everything was fine. They still were the #1 seed. They swept New Jersey. I think they beat the Charlotte Hornets in 5 games. And then they beat Indiana in 7. The Indiana Pacers took them to 7 games. People forget about that series. That was a really grueling series for Jordan. Indiana was a beast that year. People forget. Reggie Miller hit that game-winning shot. And I think Game 3 or Game 4. Yeah, so then eventually they played the Utah Jazz in the NBA Finals. It looked like Chicago was going to sweep them at first. Not sweep them, but win the series in 5 games. Karl Malone had a great Game 5, sent the series back to Utah. This is where Jordan pretty much ended his career as a Chicago Bull in grand fashion. Utah was up by 1. I believe Karl Malone had the ball. Jordan stole the ball from Karl Malone. He just swatted it away from him and took his time and kind of shoved Byron Russell aside and hit the game-winning shot right over Byron Russell to secure the Chicago Bulls their 6th NBA championship. That was an amazing shot. Definitely, probably Jordan's greatest moment ever. So yeah, that was the end of his career as a Chicago Bull. Then he came back. He retired. You know he was going to retire after that. So he retired. Took a couple years off. I wish he did it because it would have been interesting to see who could finally knock off the Chicago Bulls. Probably the Houston Rockets would have done it in '94. That would have been a great series, but we'll never know what happened. But 1999, there was a lockout, and it just seemed like it was the right time for Jordan to retire. So that's what happened. Then he came back in 2001 as a Washington Wizard. He was the director of basketball operations the year before that, so he decided to come back the next year as a player. I mean, his purpose wasn't to really win a championship. I think Jordan's purpose as a Wizard was try to just help them out and get them going in the right direction, just get some more people into the product and start developing some of these players. But things really didn't work out in Washington. He had some memorable moments, and he still was awesome for his age at the time. But people really aren't going to remember his career as a Washington Wizard at all. So, and that's it. That's my Michael Jordan career retrospective. Without a doubt, the most influential and the greatest basketball player I've ever seen. Is it a positive or a negative thing that all of us grew up emulating and idolizing Michael Jordan? I mean, I don't know. It remains to be seen for me, but I don't know. I just think he's I don't know. I'm not gonna say he's a tremendous person because I don't know him that well as a person. But as far as what he did on the basketball court and his intensity, his integrity, and his determination, it's just unbelievable. I've never seen anything like it. I don't think there will ever be another Michael Jordan. No matter how good LeBron and Kobe get, Jordan's always number one in my book. Um, and I definitely think this is well deserved for him. And I hope he enjoys it. Okay, that's it for now.